Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Chelsea 3, Luton 0. We could just keep the fingers like that and just twist the hand. See what I did there? Thought that was quite cool, but maybe that's because I had 3 hours sleep and maybe what I think's cool, you might not, but I'm buzzing. Chelsea have got the win. We have got a lemon iced tea before the drinks get ever so slightly stronger on a Saturday. Not really a fan of the Friday night games. It's 3 o'clock in the morning for me, which you don't know if you want to go out, have a session the night before, or you wake up. I got 3 hours sleep before the game, woke up, saw Chelsea score 3 goals, get 3 points, and I am absolutely delighted about it. We were good last night, especially after we scored the second goal. Before we go into the player ratings, I want to talk a little bit more about the way that the game went, the way it was feeling. Watching it, there were nerves for like 15, 20 minutes at the start of the second half because Luton's presence was growing in the game. And then the fact that we scored 2 more, killed the game off, could have scored even more. I think this is a massive momentum shifter for Chelsea Football Club. Pochettino's first win. Raheem Sterling back in the goals, just like I said he would be, if you saw that in the preview. And Nicolas Jackson scoring what could be a monumental goal to kickstart his Chelsea career as our new striker. We begin by talking about Robert Sanchez. Going to try not to call him Alexis Sanchez in this video today. I've given Sanchez a 6.5. You can't really give him much higher than that because he only really had 1 save to make the whole game. But it's one of the weirdest saves that I think I've ever seen in football. I do not know. He's kind of like a cat trying to swipe at the face of a dog. He's kind of just like slapped the ball, killed it dead in the air so that he can catch it. Takes a little deflection off, I think, Malo Gusto, and then he manages to keep the ball out. This game could have been very different if this goal goes in or this shot goes in for Luton. If it goes 1-1, the atmosphere around Stamford Bridge becomes very tepid. I think Chelsea then could have struggled to go and get those other goals to see the game out to get the 3 points. Sanchez didn't have much to do. His distribution, I thought, was much better than the games that we've seen prior to this one. 6.5, not the busiest he's ever going to be, but a decent performance and a first Chelsea clean sheet nonetheless. I've given Disasi a 6.5. It was solid. He didn't really have much to do. A couple of wayward passes in the first half, but he seems to be settling in at Chelsea relatively comfortable. The first game against Liverpool, excellent, gets himself a goal. Second game last week against West Ham, he was poor. And if you saw the shootout video, which by the way, Eunice and my channel, linked in the description, make sure you're subscribed, go and check it out. We got a new series there called Hot and Cold, and the video should probably go out tomorrow, where we discuss about the hot and cold players, if we can find any, from this Chelsea performance, so check that one out. But Disasi, I think when you look at the price that Chelsea paid for Axel Disasi, I was saying with Harry on the stream that I think this is probably the level of player that you get now for £38 million. I don't think he's the best centre-back at the club by a long way, but I also think when Fofana's back, Badiashile is back, having a player like Disasi to call up from the bench, I think he could end up being the kind of player that Alex used to be for Chelsea. The ability to get forward, knows how to score a goal, very good in the air, 6'4" or whatever he is. And I think he's got a bright future ahead of him at Chelsea Football Club. 6.5 for Axel Disasi. We move into Thiago Silva, who I have given a 7. I was a little bit worried after that game against West Ham. I thought Silva looks a bit slow, lapses in concentration. The whole Chelsea defence looked all over the place last week. But to bounce back from that with a clean sheet, it's something that we have not seen for Chelsea for a very, very long time. We were so bad last season at digging ourselves into a hole, into a rut, not improving game after game, seeing the same mistakes appearing from one match to the next match, multiple competitions. Thiago Silva, I thought, was solid. He gets a 7. Moving into Levi Colwill. This guy is special. There's a reason why Roberto De Zerbi was so gutted that he couldn't manage to get Levi Colwill's move permanent. Liverpool were desperate to sign him, and you can see why. There are elements of Virgil van Dijk that I see in Levi Colwill, but more importantly, seeing a player that young come in at Chelsea wearing the number 26 shirt, arguably one of the most iconic shirt numbers in our history due to the brilliance of the magnificent John Terry. He's come in And he fits that shirt like a flipping glove on your hand. It's absolutely magnificent. The way that this guy plays those passes, the way that John Terry did with his left foot. The ball to Nicolas Jackson in the first half, the one that kind of loops over, if we scored a goal, we would be talking about the way that Levi Colwill created this beautiful Chelsea goal for a long time. The chance didn't really come to anything, but the ball in is magnificent. Every time he gets it, he's comfortable to get it on his right, shift it onto his left, and every time the pass is going forward. He's being asked to fill in like a left-back position at times. Looks super comfortable with it, always getting forward. There's a couple of things where he does get dribbled past a couple of times. People are taking him on that needs to improve. But overall, Levi Colwill, what a player he is. I've given him an 8 out of 10. The same rating as I've given Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto, 2 assists. And as much as we're going to miss Reece James, because Reece James, I think, is still a level above Malo Gusto at this point, what a confidence booster for Malo Gusto. The way that he managed to balance the times when he would go forward. If you look at the way that Chelsea were attacking during this game, I was surprised that we weren't doing more down the left. I thought Chilwell would be more prominent, but he wasn't. We were focusing a lot of the play down the right-hand side. So Gusto was able to get forward, but then when he needed to be back, he was. He wasn't making untimely runs. He was keeping the line really well as well, not being offside. And he gets himself 2 assists for Raheem Sterling. And I think when you look at Chelsea and we're looking at the moment about where is the attacking prowess coming from, you've got Chilwell, we can focus it down there. Then the next game, we're sending it down the right. Sterling and Gusto linking up brilliantly. And overall, I think Malo Gusto is proving why at 20 years old, Chelsea were busting to get this guy through the door last season. Brilliant performance from Gusto. We move into Moises Caicedo. 7 out of 10. Clearly not fit enough yet to be at the best that he was at Brighton. And I think that is a good thing that Pochettino, instead of just like slowly easing him into the squad, he kept him on today, allowing him to keep that fitness high, because playing minutes in the Premier League is the best way to get yourself fully match ready to the best of your capacity. I think in the second half, we started to see just how brilliant Caicedo can be. Getting the ball, making those passes. I think he completed like 58 out of 60 passes. He was taken on a couple of times, but won basically every single one of his tackles, was good in the air. And you started to see a relationship building with Enzo Fernandez in that second half. Caicedo would clear up, he'd dive in, get the tackle, give it to Enzo, and then the brilliance, the mercurial Enzo Fernandez would then send the ball somewhere and Chelsea's attacks begin. Always forward thinking. That is what we know about Moises Caicedo's game at Brighton. I think it was interesting today to see the interchangeable roles between Gallagher when Chelsea do have another number 10. You look at the starting 11, you've only really got 2 outright attackers there, Sterling and also Nicolas Jackson. So the Chelsea creativity needed to come from other areas, and Caicedo was a big part in getting the ball forward during Chelsea's attacking moves. I thought it was good from him. Not the best yet, we can still see more, but he did very well on his Chelsea Champions League, Chelsea home debut. We move to an 8.5 performance from Enzo Fernandez. I think to the naked eye, you can sometimes forget just how brilliant Enzo is and just how important he is to this Chelsea team. He brings leadership to this Chelsea team. The pass, the assist to the assist, right? When Sterling puts the ball in for Jackson, do you see what Enzo does? He's there just doing little keepy-uppies in the middle of the field and then just pings a looping volley over to Raheem Sterling, who first time crosses the ball. It hits a little deflection. Jackson puts it in the back of the net. But I think Chelsea's goals today, Raheem Sterling's movement for the second one was brilliant. We'll talk about him in a moment. The first one is absolutely unbelievable. But the pre-move to build up this goal, to get the ball to Sterling, the vision and the knowledge that all Sterling is thinking about is to run straight towards that byline and get the ball into the striker. Brilliant from Chelsea. And I think you can see Enzo Fernandez, if Chelsea have as good season as I think we can, Enzo's going to be the player of the year. I just see every single game, he is a level above everybody. He's absolutely brilliant. 8.5 rating. Chilwell we're going to do next. Then we're going to do Gallagher, Sterling, Jackson. Chile I've given a 5.5. Now it seems a little bit harsh. Chelsea won. He's the captain. To me, he looked nervous, Ben Chilwell. When you see him get into that position where I don't know how he's not shot, not scored, and how Sterling's not been played in, for a hat-trick it would have been based on the accumulation of goals he scored after that chance. I think Chile today looked nervous. I'm not going to lie. The end product was poor. He wasn't getting on the ball as much. He was still a threat whenever he did steal the ball off of a Luton midfielder or defender to get Chelsea forward again. But based on what I know that we can see from Chilwell on a consistent basis, I don't think this was his best game. And relative to what we've seen prior, 5.5, I think today is fair. Conor Gallagher, 7. It's another competent performance from Gallagher. If you watch Conor Gallagher play football now for Chelsea, and you don't think he is levels above where he was last season, I would love to know your thoughts on why that is, or what it is you see that I don't, in the comments down below. Gallagher's going to be a really important player here. I've said it since pre-season, I want him to stay. And I think every time he plays at the moment, he's showing that he has added new levels to his game. He's not necessarily known for being an outright attacking midfielder. Yes, maybe I want to see him get into positions where he can get some more shots away from the edge of the area, the way that Frank Lampard, Ballack used to do, to such great effect. SCN as well. We were blessed, weren't we? But Conor Gallagher is proving that he's going to be a big player in Pochettino's side. We move. Man of the match performance, Raheem Sterling. Take a flipping bow, mate, because since he's come back this season, there is an air about Sterling. He's got a point to prove. And I think it's fascinating that apparently this all stems from Sterling going to Pochettino a couple of weeks ago and being like, look, when I played at Man City, this is why I delivered this. At Chelsea last season, Tuchel's deployed me like this, don't like it. Potter, the same. Lampard, the same. I'm telling you, I'm going to give everything for you. Play me here. And that's what Pochettino has done. Raheem Sterling, the way that he's running at defences, the dribbles, it's Lionel Messi-esque. I'm telling you now, the way that he is every game now trying to take 4 or 5 players out of the game, we have not been blessed with this level of pace, dribbling since Eden Hazard. And this was the Raheem Sterling that we've criticised him because we know he's got the potential to do what he did in this game. The way I saw him against West Ham, the reason I was so sure that Sterling was going to score is because when he's playing like that, and when you're playing against a team who are just going to defend, yes, it could be frustrating. Yes, there's going to be moments where you're like, oh, it's 0-0 or it's 1-0. How can we not kill these guys off? They're not doing anything. They're not getting forward. We're dominating possession. Sterling has got that ability. He can be world class when he wants to. And I think now we are seeing the confidence that playing under a manager like Pochettino, who's kind of given him the freedom a little bit here. He's saying, right, look, don't be a part of the monotonous, slow side to side. Be the guy to get the ball. You might not complete the dribble every single time, but try and make things happen. Take defenders out the game to create opportunities for your teammates. He scores 2, could have had 4 quite easily if we're being honest. He gets in, but for a poor first touch, he could have done better. Fires that volley straight at the goalie in the first half. It's actually a really good save considering the venom that he gets behind the shot. The confidence is beaming from Raheem Sterling right now. And it's a 9 out of 10 performance. If he'd have got the hat-trick, it would have been the first 10 in the player rating series. We move to Nicolas Jackson. I've given Jackson a 7.5. I am delighted that he gets his first Chelsea goal. He also could have had a couple of assists today. But in football, those things need to happen for me to be able to say 8.5, 9, 9.5 out of 10. Jackson, I still want more from. In the first half, someone said in the chat on the live stream, he was a bit like Bambi on ice, which I absolutely saw that as well. It was a good explanation for the way that he was playing. But then, when he gets that goal, the Drogba celebration in front of the home fans at Stamford Bridge, if he doesn't score again today, the longer he goes without scoring but consistently starting as Chelsea's striker, the more pressure builds on his shoulders. And the thing I love about Jackson is the attitude, the interviews, everything about this guy is likeable. You got Pochettino saying that he could end up being one of the all-time great Premier League strikers. That is serious, serious praise. And to be quite honest, the way that a modern striker that we've seen at Chelsea have been going recently, it's everything I want to see. It reminds me so much of Didier Drogba, Nicolas Anelka. He's kind of got a bit of everything about him. And as much as before we start doing Drogba comparisons, Anelka comparisons, we do need more goals, of course. But I think now the floodgates might open for Chelsea. Our upcoming fixtures are actually quite friendly. I think the next game that we could question whether we should win or not will be Aston Villa at home, and that is right at the end of September. So I think now Jackson is going to get a run in the side still. We still haven't got another striker available. Maybe Burstow gets the run against Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup on, I think, Wednesday. But Nicolas Jackson, 7.5, more to do. I think he needs to get a little bit sharper with his touches, less erratic at times. But that first goal, best believe, this is a massive moment for him and Chelsea this season. Pochettino, giving him a 7.5. I think maybe we could possibly have seen the substitutions a little bit earlier from Mauricio Pochettino. Didn't happen. I think maybe switch into a back four at the beginning of the second half would have been feasible. We were dominating Luton. I think if we'd have gone to a back four at the start, it wouldn't have made much difference. We could have created even more chances than we did to kill the game off and start scoring a load of goals again. Overall, it was good. He didn't make too many substitutions until late because when we got that second goal, the momentum was with us. We were playing well, and he didn't really need to change it. And I think he wants to see the Caicedo-Enzo relationship building. He wants to give Caicedo the minutes to make sure that he's building match fitness while playing football matches. And I think with this team that we've got now, with the injuries that we have, he's kind of looking at the starting 11 today as maybe the best 11 that he's got available to him, with all the injuries being said. And he wanted to see it out there against a team that weren't really threatening us for very long, for as long as he possibly could. Leslie Ukuchukwu comes on. I think he looked really good in his cameo, but not really enough time to do a rating. Burstow comes on right at the end. Maatsen comes on at the end, gets a yellow. Other than that, there's not really much else to say. Chelsea 3, Luton 0, 3 points for Chelsea. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button on it. Subscribe if you are new to the George Benson Football channel, and have a brilliant weekend. I sure will. Come on, you Blues.